Hey, everybody, this is John. Enjoy this meditation with Jason Linett, hypnotic success coach and author of the book Work Smart Business. Enjoy.
A little bit of a preamble before we actually get into this one, which there's a structure in language that's called a nominalization. It's what happens when you take an action verb and you turn it into a noun, when you thingify something that's not quite a thing. And the easiest example of this is you cannot put love in a wheelbarrow and push it around the village for everybody to see. You can't put fear in a box and mail it to somebody you don't like, as helpful as that might seem sometimes. So we experience these sensations that are absolutely real because we notice them, and yet they're not so real because you cannot tangibly pick it up and move it around. Even a team of doctors cannot go inside and pluck out one of these emotional states. So we're about to take perhaps some sort of unresourceful emotion you might have been experiencing and thingify it and change that reaction. And we're going to use your imagination for this. So assuming you're in a safe place, just briefly let your eyelids close and just become aware of your own breathing and the sound of my voice, and just simply think back to some sort of moment that's been stressing you in some way, concerning you, or even bothering you in some sense. And notice how just simply by bringing your thoughts to that experience, you can actually bring up some of that old emotional state. And in fact, right now, we're going to stretch the imagination, because it's the imagination that reruns that old story. It's the imagination that recreates that old unnecessary feeling. And so right now, begin to exercise that same muscle in the mind to become aware of that feeling and perhaps what color it is. Really go inside and just start to become aware of, if it did have a color, what that would be. In fact, even now, start to become aware of its shape and texture that might be there. And even as you're aware of that sensation, whatever it used to be, maybe notice as if perhaps there might be some sounds coming from it, or even some movement to it, perhaps. You wouldn't be able to physically notice it if it didn't have movement, so notice that movement that's there now. And using that same muscle of the mind that's creating the issue to now resolve the issue, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale now, imagine, picture, visualize that color, that thing just now floating out of you, behind you, in the past where it belongs. Just take this moment and imagine in your own creativity, whatever this means to you, letting it float further and further behind you, leaving this wide open perspective out in front of you, well off into the horizon, all the options, all the strategies, all the choices you've had from the very beginning. It's the old phrase that you can't see the forest with all those trees in the way. So as you take that thing that used to be there and let it now float further and further behind you, back in the distance where it belongs, as if you could see it, as if you can notice it. In fact, now that it's a safe distance away, have some fun with it. Imagine that thing exploding. Imagine that thing bursting into a million tiny pieces, breaking away into nothing as you let that thing be gone. And simply now let your eyes reopen and just simply ask yourself, where's that sensation now? In fact, even notice the more you try to recreate that sensation, it just goes further and further away. And trusting you can do this on your own anytime you choose, simply by guiding yourself through this experience.